Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going to go over all of the games from Week 6, including Sunday Night Football, where the Giants lost to the Bengals. Not that I'm embarrassed at all. But first, follow us on Instagram at Ringer Fantasy Football. Follow us on TikTok at Ringer Fantasy Football. But really, actually go follow us, though. It's very embarrassing to ask people to follow you on social media. But, please do it.
Please. For the love of God, please.
We're actually earnestly saying, please follow us on Instagram. Please do it. So, no, right now. Just right now, go and follow us.
Pause. All right.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, that's really shameless. Okay, fine, we'll get to the football game.
Every once in a while, Heifetz turns into like an infomercial. And it's all right, we got to move on. We got to get past this.
Yeah.
4 easy payments of $29.99.
Anything to avoid talking about the Giants game where they showed the little graphic. You know what's so embarrassing is they showed the graphic of the Bengals had 75 straight games where the defense had not given up more than 10 points. And the Giants, Daniel Jones, fixed the Bengals defense. And they also showed that graphic where the Bengals were 1-166 when they scored 10 points or less. And then the Bengals immediately broke off the touchdown run. So that was, and then the fumble. And then, I'm just so sad. I'm just sad.
Heifetz, by transitive property, I'm really upset because your Giants beat my Seahawks. I truly don't understand how that happened after watching this last game.
Well, you guys suck.
The Giants kind of I feel like every Giants game, it just gets messy. They kind of disorient you, you know? It's like a couple weird Daniel Jones drives that last 8 minutes each. And before you know it, it's the third quarter and it's tied. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, Mike Tirico kept making all these comments oh, it's almost Halloween and this game's weird. I'm like, all right, I get it. You didn't like the game, Mike. I get it.
But it's 10 to 7 in the fourth. And I'm like, man, the Giants are kind of in a lot of games and I don't really know why.
The only
touchdown line is really keeping them in everything.
The only touchdown the Bengals scored for 58 minutes was Joe Burrow running for 50 yards. It was a weird game. And the Giants defense actually played immaculate. And Daniel Jones, I actually said earlier to someone that I think Daniel Jones, I'm Ben Affleck and he's J-Lo. And I just feel I have a drag. Not that he's as hot as J-Lo, but I feel every Giants game, I'm
he's not. For the record, you're saying he's not as hot as J-Lo.
No, I don't think so. Sexy Dixie is. But no, I just feel I'm Ben Affleck, specifically the dragon tattoo on my back, staring into the sea, smoking a cigarette. That's how I feel after every Daniel Jones game. I'm like,
7 days ago, you were ready to get married again. Ben and J-Lo.
That's the Affleck J-Lo dynamic I'm trying to say. It's if Ben Affleck was instead of J-Lo, it was with Daniel Jones. That's who I am. Where I'm just it's snip, snap. But no, this game, it's the Giants. All right, I am biased. I'm fan-brained. The Giants' defensive line is very good, right?
It's awesome.
Right.
The defense is legit.
Yeah.
The offense has pieces. And I think if they had a better quarterback, the Giants would be a serious team.
If Malik Neighbors had been playing today, they might have won. I mean, it's incredible. Once again, like Craig said, it's incredible that you guys were even in this game. I don't understand how that happened. I have a question. This is unrelated to everything that you just said. Did you guys ever think that Brian Daboll kind of looks like Eminem now that he's lost a lot of weight? I kept they kept showing him on the sideline, and he's got the really dark beard and the really really low ball cap right on his eyebrows, and I'm like, dude, that I kept getting Eminem.
And you just keep these guys napkins. You seen that video where you got no one saw that.
I vaguely know what that is.
Are you talking about the Chris D'Elia TikTok?
Yeah, and he just is he's just rapping.
Got too many napkins. Yeah.
Got too many napkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Brian Daboll does kind of look like that.
NFL coaches, I think, are the worst hat wearers in all sports.
That's a great take.
They wear hats terribly. They look the worst in them.
And the NFL they're all just dads.
Terrible hat wearers.
Fashion sense, so they just send them these clothes and they just put
these
them on.
giant. I know the breast cancer awareness hats right now. They're like this plaid thing.
Yeah,
it's not working.
It looks
it's
ridiculous.
Not working.
Oh my God, it's so true.
It's so bad. There's these
good.
dark plaid hats with pink and purple stripes through them. It looks bad. It looks real bad.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
We need to maybe fix that.
They're just how do they decide what hats to wear? Because you get unlimited access to teams.
No, they get told for the most part what hats to wear a lot of the times.
I don't know.
I'm going to do some research.
Hat.
I want to find the top 5 hat wearing coaches in the NFL.
Okay, so Shanahan wears
for next week
the same style hats every time.
I mean, Dan Quinn is number 1. He got the backwards hat.
Quinn kills it. I like what LaFleur is doing with his hat game. He has a good choice. Kevin
His
O'Connell.
eyebrows are immaculate.
Right. Maybe he's just hot. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next week.
Good hat or hot?
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Write that down.
We don't need to spend any more time on this game. I have to imagine most of America didn't either. I think they're like, well, it's 6-0 on the Dodgers game. We'll still watch that. Yeah.
All right. Winners and losers. Week 6. DK, who's your biggest winner from this week?
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson / the Ravens, who, I mean, this was the game of the year. It was an amazing game. It was super fun, back and forth. I thought Jayden Daniels looked great, but at the end, Lamar kind of just reminded everyone that he's still the man. He's still the guy. 2-time MVP, who's 27 years old, and he is only getting better, it feels like to me. He is in complete command. I think the thing about the Ravens offense that really strikes me right now is, in a weird sort of way, they kind of remind me of like the Patriots offenses of old, where they can just beat you in any given week. They can beat you however they want, whether it's like short and intermediate passing to Zay Flowers, just a run game with Lamar and Derrick Henry, maybe get the tight ends involved with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Whatever it is, like they can adapt their offense week in and week out to just play their opponents or play the type of game script they want to play. And they just dictate to the other team every time, it feels like. And so this offense is just really running smoothly. Lamar, for the second time only in his career, he has back-to-back 300-yard games passing. So I just thought he looked awesome out there.
I think he looks calmer in the pocket than he ever has.
Mm-hmm.
I think like it's just every game he's getting better and better in the pocket, and he looks calmer. He's better at maneuvering it, sitting in the pocket, hitting throws,
finding open guys. Yeah,
and the Derrick Henry thing, he just looks so comfortable. It just looks like this offense is super comfortable, and they don't need tight ends anymore, which is fun. They just removed both tight ends usually from every game plan. It doesn't matter because they have Derrick Henry.
Mark Andrews had his best game of the year.
Yeah, he had a touchdown. True.
He celebrated that touchdown like he was reading my tweets and replies. He was so emotional when he scored that touchdown. I think after the game he was like, "Yeah, I'll be honest with you, like that felt good. It usually doesn't take me this long to get going." So,
and then Zay Flowers had 9 catches for 120 yards at halftime. It was a Ravens record.
Yeah, and then the Ravens looked amazing. So Baltimore won 30-23, and then the Ravens looked amazing. Derrick Henry is amazing. I mean, honestly, all these moves, look like they've worked. Honestly, like everything about the Ravens offseason we said has kind of come true. It's like the defense is a lot worse. The offensive line took time to get going, and Derrick Henry is like the Mariano Rivera, like he's the closer for this team, and it's exactly what they wanted. I mean, Henry's been great. He has touchdowns in each of his first 6 games, which hasn't happened since LaDainian Tomlinson set the touchdown record in 2006. I thought that was kind of crazy. The Ravens are an unbelievable team, and also the Washington. I mean, just Jayden Daniels still looks awesome. I know he
had a good game. Yeah.
I mean, the even just the 4th and goal, like the Terry McLaurin throw, like I don't know. This was fun.
You know, Jayden's good when, like today, I mean, he's a rookie. This was his 6th football game in the NFL. He had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and kept it close against one of the best teams in the league. And we're already at the point where we're like, yeah, classic Jayden game.
He's also still unreal on 4th down. Like the 4th down thing I thought would be silly, but then he had like another 2 4th down conversions today.
They're 9 out of 9 on 4th down. Plus they got a 4th down conversion with I believe it was pass interference. So man, yeah. I don't know when that's going to end, but right now they're just absolutely humming on 3rd and 4th down. Craig, I was a little bit, I don't know what the word is, not skeptical, but like a little bit worried about us hyping up Derrick Henry over the offseason just because of like all the stuff that was changing. You know,
because he's 30 and like the oldest running back in the NFL.
Going to a new team, like the offensive line is so different for the Ravens, and there's some moving guys around. I don't know exactly how like Lamar is going to fit together with Derrick Henry's style or whatever. And there's just a lot of question marks, I think, with it. It's like, man, he's the number 1 running back in fantasy right now. So
yeah,
that's going great.
That the one stat that I couldn't get away from, and it's why I put Henry in the first round for drafts, was just that when he was on the Titans, he had the least. He got hit before the line of scrimmage worse than any other running back in the league.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens running backs, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and all them, had the most yards before getting contacted. And I was like, this is just the easiest call. Like, I don't need to hear anything else. I don't care about the offensive line. What Lamar does to that team's running game with Derrick Henry, it's the perfect match.
If you give him 2 steps, he's the best running back in history, maybe. Like if you give him 2 steps to get up to speed, hard to beat.
My winner is quaint. It's not quite Lamar MVP, but like I want to just throw a quaint little good job to the Chargers.
The Ravens of the West.
The Ravens of the West. Yeah,
Nice.
They beat the Broncos today 23-16, but it was 23-0. And that's when I kind of was like, wow, Chargers, great job. The Broncos kind of came back really late. It was never really that close, but there was like, I guess, a scare at the end, a kind of a late surge. But the Chargers they haven't won in Denver since 2018. And they had lost 2 straight coming into their bye, and they were really hurt. And I was kind of just like, oh, is this another season from hell for the Chargers? Is this like going to go downhill again? And I don't know, this game, they put up 23 points. Denver's defense is awesome. They handled them. They ran all over them. J.K. Dobbins looked great. Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt were back. Like, that bye week couldn't have been more perfect. So maybe my winner is like not only Chargers, but the concept of the perfect bye week. And I feel like usually the week 5 bye week is not great. That's not one I would pick. You want one later in the season. This was perfect for them, and I now feel reinvigorated with the Harbaugh team being like, all right, like I do think the Chargers are for real and in the mix, and I think they're going to continue to get better.
We're going to get to Harbaugh in a moment. We have a very important Harbaugh discussion coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My winner and also my loser this week is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions are America's team. The Lions took it from the Cowboys.
The actual America's team.
They are. Shout out to Tej Seth who pointed that out today. But like, it's true. I think the Lions are clearly like the most fun team in the NFL. They're the most fun to watch. They're the most fun to root for. They're easily the Super Bowl team that would make the most people happy. And they crushed Dallas 47-9. And they're the winner of the week. And also they're the loser of the week because Aiden Hutchinson broke his leg. So it sucks.
That sucks. Let's just focus on the good with this. I feel like.
Yeah.
Let's just be good vibes. Let's vibes it out for the Lions here, who I'm ready to like. There's a handful of offenses that come to my mind when I think about this, but like the Lions might be the most aesthetically pleasing football team I've ever seen. Offensively?
They're the Spurs. They're like the Duncan era, like peak. Kind of like when they had Kawhi, Tony Parker,
shooting.
Ginobili, and Duncan.
Yeah.
And they were like cooking LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. That is what the Lions are right now. They can go to anyone. They can create open space anywhere. They are the most like pass the ball, share the love in the league. And it's beautiful.
They make you, this is a cliche, but they literally make you defend every blade of grass on the field. It's like a perfect combination of power and grace. They're so fast on offense. Jameson Williams has added this whole new dimension of field stretching and the ability to take little crossers and go like take it to the house. They designed and almost converted 2 touchdown passes to their tackles today. Penei Sewell caught a pass on a freaking hook and ladder.
Can I just say that's stupid. Don't do that. What are you fucking doing?
You know what's funny? I loved about that. They wanted to get after the whole like the Dan Skipper, Taylor Decker debacle last year. They want to do it again, and then it didn't work. And they're like, "Fuck it, we're doing it again."
Yeah.
And then that didn't work, and they're like, "No, they're doing it a third time. They're like, we're gonna do this."
I'm just like, you're up 30 and you're putting the ball in Penei's hands. Maybe the best player in your team to like juke a safety and try to get into the end zone. Is that really worth it if he gets that touchdown or he tears?
That's what I love. It's like,
yes. They're playing Madden out there, Craig.
No, they're
sitting next to their friend, talking shit, saying, "Hey, watch this."
Okay, if Penei Sewell tore his ACL on that play, what would the dialogue be right now?
You think they think that way?
Didn't. He's out there ramming into people every single play.
Yeah, that's the safest thing he's ever done.
I completely disagree. But that is not what Penei Sewell's body is designed to do.
Oh, okay. He's just designed to like fight off like defensive ends every week. We're the most athletic people in the world.
Yes, that is what he builds his body to do every day.
I think he'll be fine catching a football.
That's crazy to me. I don't agree at all.
No, that's your basketball load management brain. I think the left tackles will be
load
fine.
Management? What are you saying? We should pass the ball to our tackles? What are you talking about? Load management?
I will say it was really funny that Jared Goff
trolling,
jumped
Craig.
ball to Taylor Decker.
It's trolling.
It's trolling. That is more important than anything else.
Dude, you know what I thought? Like, it reminded me of the Cardale Jones when they're like, the Ohio State quarterback who we don't get paid to play, we don't come here to play school. And then they were like, did you beat this cancer-riddled kid in the hospital? Did you beat him 92-7?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I beat him 99-7.
Yeah, no,
you know
he's
what I
like,
mean?
everyone keeps saying this. It was actually 96-7 with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I won 99-7.
Yeah, and it's like, but that was Detroit in this game where they're
Yeah.
up 30 and then they're up 40. And they're like, you know what? We're going to throw to our fucking offensive lineman to go up 40. You know what I mean? Like, they can't, like, honestly.
I support it. I
I
support
went
it.
on Dominique Foxworth's show earlier today, and he pointed out that, like, there are coaches, like, Jim Harbaugh would have fought someone if they did this to him. If they were, like, throwing offensive linemen to go up 40 points at you.
It's also, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is week 6. You know, I don't know if you can be doing that right now. You're really putting the target on your back. Everyone's going to hate you.
I love it.
Well, that's why we love the Lions, because they don't
No.
give a fuck.
And to your point, though, DK, I want to go back to what you said, because you're
They
solely right.
want the heat.
Aesthetically, they're the best. They're the most amazing team. You know why? I really love the Spurs analogy, because this is such an obvious thing to say, but it really gets to it's the comment with the Spurs where you're like, what do? Pass the ball, make the right shot, and everyone has a really different skill set. And you're like, well, that sounds so fucking simple. Why is it? You're the Lions. You know what the Lions do? Everybody who catches the ball is wide open and they're moving. Like, everyone is running when they get the ball in motion and they're wide open. And then every run is blocked well. And you're like, it looks so simple when they do it. David Montgomery, I think, has become the most fun person to watch as a running back. I'm not saying he's the most talented or anything, but I think he's the most fun. Like, he really has taken up that mantle. Jameson Williams is, functionally speaking, probably the fastest player in the entire NFL right now. And then Amon-Ra and Laporte are like third and fourth options, it feels like right now. Straight, honestly. Like, everyone.
Did you mention Jahmyr Gibbs, by the way? You didn't even mention Jahmyr Gibbs.
But, like, they have the speed of Gibbs and James Williams. But the offensive line, they just bully you. And that's what happened today with Dallas. And we talked about this on Friday. But it's like the Dallas defensive line is built to be bullied. And the Cowboys and the Lions just bullied them off the field. But, like, yeah, it looked like a high school game. And they hated that high school.
Yeah, it's just really, it's like I said at the beginning, it's aesthetically pleasing.
I
Misdirection,
can't believe you don't like
motion.
giving offensive linemen the ball, Craig. That fucking pisses me off.
No, look, if it's a close game and you need a trick play to shimmy a guy open and it's a game-winning touchdown, fine. You're up 30 in the fourth and you're giving the best player on your team who you just signed to a massive contract. Like, you're having that guy.
Get the people going. This is the worst take you've ever had. It's the worst take you've ever had.
No, look, it's the same thing to me as Shanahan keeping McCaffrey in like up 25. It's stupid. If Penei Sewell got hurt and got a high ankle sprain, missed the next month, we'd all be like, yeah, did he need to do that? Probably not.
I would have bet my life if Austin told us before the show that someone's gonna have this take. I would have bet my life it was Heifetz, and Craig and I would have been fighting Heifetz right now. I can't believe this.
I feel like this is my corner. My corner is like, pull your fucking players when you're winning.
But if you want the starters out of the game, that's one thing. But if they're basically just trying to be like, yo, great job kicking their fucking asses. Here's a fucking touchdown for the boys. Like, it gets the boys going.
The boys were going. Buzzing. The boys were up 40.
Yeah, the boys were buzzing. They're the most badass
they were
line
buzzed.
in the league.
The boys were sufficiently buzzed.
I do think there's utility to this. I will say this. I think that what they were doing with all the offensive lineman touchdowns, it was 1/3. They really wanted to do it because of obviously the last game they played last year. It was 1/3 they were really mad that it didn't work and they were tilting. And 1/3, I kind of do wonder, because I think I think that's the wrong criticism. I think if you're going to criticize it, you're like, why the fuck are you burning those plays in a game you're up 40 points? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
And I think that what they actually were doing, I think they did it on purpose. I think they were like, we're going to do it because it'll be really cathartic. But then once we throw another touchdown to a lineman, when we're the Detroit Lions on the 1 yard line, you know what those teams have to practice now? Fucking what if the linemen catch a touchdown? And then they can get back to what they want to do, which is run it at the 1 yard line. But it's crazy to think that you got to have like run defenders thinking about pass coverage, which is what you want. You don't want them to be. So I think it messes with the mentality of teams going forward, which I actually think is pretty sick. But also get the boys a touchdown. Awful Craig take. Also awful take.
If he tore his ACL, I would be so right.
I am the nervous Jewish grandmother of the show, and that's, oh no, what if the toughest guy in football tore his ACL catching a touchdown? Please.
Okay. Bad take, both of you. This is why you guys couldn't be coaches. I'm playing for the season, not for the day.
I will say, I think that the Cowboys might have been a bigger loser than the Lions were a winner.
100%, dude. This game was 40. Did we say the score 47-9? This is the largest home loss ever under Jerry Jones.
Happy birthday to Jerry Jones, 6 weeks older than Joe Biden.
82.
Turned 82, which is almost how much they lost by today. They're 0-3 at home. the Cowboys this year. They're 3-3. They're 0-3 at home. They've beaten the Browns, the Giants, and the Steelers. And honestly, they could have lost 2 of those games. They could have lost to the Giants and the Steelers.
The Giants was a Thursday night game where they didn't beat the Giants very convincingly.
It's so weird. They're so not Cowboysy anymore. Like they're so one-dimensional. The run game is completely dead. They have the least rushing yards in the NFL. The defense is in shambles. Heifetz, you sent us a stat earlier of what the Cowboys are dealing with at halftime. Just at halftime this year, the last 4 games, they've been down 27-7, 35-16 against the Saints, 21-6 against the Ravens, and today they were down 27-6 at halftime. So it's like, not only can they not run the ball anyway, they are functionally one-dimensional no matter what, because the defense gets shredded so much. They're bottom 3 in a ton of categories. They've given up 167 points in their last 4 games, including regular season playoffs. This is the 3rd most over a 4-game span at home in NFL history.
Wow.
Say that again.
Tough.
They've given up 167 points in their last 4 home games, including regular season and playoffs. That's the 3rd most ever in a 4-game stretch at home in NFL.
That
for any team. That is wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild stat.
You know what's important though, guys? Mike McCarthy kicked a field goal when they were down 34-6.
Oh my God, that was pathetic. You know what? But you know what? No, I actually think that makes sense. You know why?
No.
Because the Cowboys, you know why it makes sense? Because that's a moment where you're like,
they should have gotten Tyler Guyton involved, thrown him a pass.
Yeah, they should have.
That actually would have made it more
get the boys
entertaining.
buzzing.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy kicking the field goal down 25. I thought, I was like, damn, it's almost like this guy lied to get the job.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, that was the first thing he said when he got the job, was he lied to get the job. And I think this whole thing, the Cowboys reflect an owner, Jerry Jones, who is older than Joe Biden, who hired someone, Mike McCarthy, who lied to get the job. And then Jerry Jones decided it was more valuable to have CeeDee Lamb hold out of training camp to get free airtime on TV every day than to have CeeDee Lamb in training camp working with Dak Prescott every day. And it just goes back to the whole thing. The Cowboys, honestly, the Cowboys as an organization, they're a TV show that prioritizes attention over, they're the definition of sizzle over steak. And you ran into the Lions, and the Lions are the definition of steak over sizzle. The Lions sizzles on top of everything else. But like at the core of it, they kick the shit out of you. And the Cowboys, this is like, it's that Cat Williams joke. It's like a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. That's the fucking Cowboys and Lions today.
Brutal.
All right. Oppenheimer, player who went nuclear award. DK.
My boy, Chris Godwin. Dude, Chris Godwin is having an all-time season. He's looking so awesome lately.
Dude, he's the old Godwin. He's back.
He is back. And this is the thesis from the offseason. Look, guys, we have a lot of theses and theories over the offseason. Some of them come
theses?
true.
Is it theses?
Theses.
Oh, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be an asshole.
We have a lot of theories.
I think, is it theses?
It shouldn't be.
Theses.
Theses sounds like the Greek guy, the Greek hero.
Theses sounds like feces to me.
Right.
That's where my head is.
Feces. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the theses are feces.
Should we do that? Theses or feces? For the next season?
Instead of fart or shart, it's theses
There
or
we go.
feces.
Theses or feces.
That's the intellectual version of the category.
Yeah.
Write that down.
That's the
Anyway,
highfalutin version, yeah.
Back to the thesis. The thesis during the offseason was moving him back into the slot was going to be like a massive big-time difference maker. And guess what? It has been. He's played 61% of his routes from the slot this year, which is like right in line with some of his best seasons earlier on in his career. Because like last year, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was really low. It was like 30% in the slot. And guess what? He was wide receiver 1 this week. He's the wide receiver 1 in total points this season. The wide receiver 5 in points per game. He's been incredible. He had 11 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's the yak king. He's like yards after the catch guy. He's number 1 in the NFL in yards after the catch right now. And
he had 125 yards today. 105 of the 125 were after the catch.
Has anyone gotten worse moving into the slot? Have we ever been like, oh no, they're moving Drake London into the slot? Damn it.
Yeah, it's the plastic surgery.
It always works. It's like literally, it's like the more you put a guy, CeeDee Lamb in the slot more, had a better year. It's never like, oh, we're actually thinking about moving Stephon Diggs to the outside and he's way better and has way more opportunities. He's open way more than in the slot.
And this is
higher
another
percentage,
reason.
higher target rates, more room in the middle.
To me, I'm literally like, he's just closer to the quarterback and he can just go either direction. And in my head, I'm like,
but that is all it is. It's you can go left or right. And on the outside, you can go straight.
He's
or
not
right,
an ambi-turner.
But that's it.
yeah.
There's 3 directions instead of 2.
I think to be serious though, like the only bad thing about getting relegated, quote unquote, relegated to the slot is if your team doesn't play three receiver sets a lot.
But you can play outside if you go to 2 receiver sets.
Sure.
That's what, it's not like you just.
Sure.
But it wasn't just Godwin though. It was the Buccaneers today. The Bucs won 51-27.
Yeah.
First of all, I couldn't believe this. The Bucs scored 50 points, and despite the fact that Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions, the only time that's happened in the last 20 seasons was the Monday Night Football Rams-Chiefs game, the 54-51 game that the Chiefs lost.
Oh,
wow. That Monday, one of the craziest games in the history of football. And the Bucs game today, team had 50 points and 3 picks. And then Sean Tucker, the running back for the Bucs, was the number 1 running back in fantasy this week. Yeah. Bucky Irving, the other alleged starter for the Bucs, was the number 11 running back today. Like, the Buccaneers were just crazy.
How bad of a running back is Rachaad White?
Oh my God. Everyone who steps in except him is literally incredible.
Don't come back to work tomorrow, Rachaad.
Dude, yeah. It's actually insane.
This game, our buddy Ben Solak had a great tweet. At one point, it was Bucs 17-0. Then the Saints outscored the Bucs 27-7 in the second quarter. And then the score was 27-24. And then the Bucs outscored the Saints 27-0, and then it was 51-27. It was like 3 separate like blowouts in a game. It was bizarre.
It was like very NBA, a game of runs.
Yeah,
like, it was insane. The Bucs had the biggest first quarter lead on the Saints in the history of the Buccaneers. Like they had never been up 17-0 on the first quarter in the Saints, and then they were losing 6 minutes later.
The Saints had 27 points in the second quarter, and that's it. They had no other points.
What the fuck is that?
It's just a bizarre
crazy
game.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, the Buc. I have to say, again, the NFC South is really entertaining. Like the NFC South, the Buccaneers in particular are actually one of the most entertaining teams in football. All right, it's so over, and we're so back. I think tight ends are so back. We're back with
We're
tight
doing
ends.
it again.
We're doing it again. Dude, so George Kittle and Cole Kmet combined had more touchdowns this week than all tight ends in the NFL combined had in week 2.
Yeah. That was a bit of a sports science John Brankett stat from you. That was
was it?
It was one layer too deep for me. But I get
fuck.
I had to think one. I was like, so week 2, all the guys combined in week 2.
Oh fuck, sorry.
That's all right.
John Brankist it.
Brankist it.
The Brankist it. George Kittle and Cole Kmet combined had more. No, sorry. But all the tight ends this week that were good are tight ends that actually fucking matter. And I think that's the reason they're back. There are a lot of weeks.
You recognize the names on this leaderboard. Yeah. It's great.
Evan Ingram came back, had 10 catches, 100 yards.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, best game of the season. George Kittle, 2 touchdowns, most of the season. Cole Kmet, 24 points, most probably of his fucking career. Trey McBride, 8 for 96, most yards all season. Mark Andrews had his most yards all season. Sam Laporta had his first touchdown this season. Zach Ertz had his first touchdown all the season. Like, the tight ends who did well are in your lineup, as opposed to freaking Charlie Kohler last week, where it's just fantasy entropy and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, we're back. We're so back.
We're back. We're so back. Who else is so back, Craig?
We're Tank Dell. We're so back.
Yeah.
Tank Dell's back. Texans won today, beat the shit out of the Patriots, 41-21. Offense looked great without Nico. We still love you, Nico. We haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
But Tank, stepped in. 7 catches, led the team in targets, had a touchdown on the opening drive. Looked spry, looked fired up. What is it? Tony Pollard broke his leg, and then last year he said it took him until week 11, I think, to feel back to normal. Tank Dell broke his leg earlier in the season than Tony Pollard did. So maybe this is around the time where, he's starting to feel like himself again. And now, he's the most explosive player on this offense until Nico Collins comes back. So I think Tank Dell's back.
Texans offense looked amazing today. And I know the Patriots aren't, amazing, but
their
the
defense
Texans
is pretty good though.
The defense is fine. All their good players are hurt. But here's to your point though, Joe Mixon was amazing, but CJ Stroud has already reached the territory where he was amazing and just it's like, yep, cool, doesn't matter.
Shred him, Stroud!
Shred him, Stroud! No, really. Like, CJ Stroud made 3 or 4 of the best throws of the entire week. And it's like, yep, cool, all right.
I think the Mixon thing is a big deal. I think having Mixon back in this offense really helps everybody.
Even Damian Pierce had like 80 yards and a touchdown today.
Yeah, like the Texans' offense it was struggling for a while there. And I think I threw out the stat. This is from Nate Tice last week, where they were facing on average the longest third downs for any offense in the league. And a lot of that goes to just they're not getting anything on first and second down because their run game sucks without Mixon. And then Mixon comes back, 13 rushes, 102 yards, and a touchdown. In all, the team rushed for 192 yards, on almost 7 yards per carry.
Couldn't do that in pregame warmups.
So I think Mixon is like, obviously he's doing so much better than I expected. I was kind of out on Mixon I think he's just like looked so much better in this scheme and in this offense than I expected. And it goes to show, like, sometimes the scheme really, really matters, especially for running backs, because, man, he just looks right at home, and they're really leaning on him hard. And in this game, it showed like they had so many more like third and manageable situations in this game. And it really, I think that's just like huge for the Texans going forward.
So Tank Dell is definitely back. You know what else is back in this game? CJ Stroud big brothering a rookie quarterback after the game.
What did he say? I missed this.
He did another one. He came up to May. He talked about it in his post game. He was like, yeah, I told him, like, keep your head up. You're making good plays out there. You're going to be successful. It worked for Caleb. It worked. So I feel like we have to feel good about that.
That's amazing.
For Drake.
So the next week, the Texans play the Packers. Do you think he could do that to Jordan Love?
He's played more games than Jordan Love, right?
He gets the Colts in 2 weeks, so he can definitely do it to Anthony Richardson.
Totally, 100%.
And then week 12, he could do it to Levis.
I want to see him do it to, like, Dak Prescott. Keep your head up.
Dude, they play the Chiefs on Christmas, or like, no, it's the 21st of December. Imagine he beats Mahomes. He's like, keep your head up, bro.
Yeah, he's like, wait, come back, Mahomes, come back. I'm not finished.
DK, who else is back?
We're so, in quotes, back. Michael Pittman. He went from in a course of several days, 3 days maybe. He went from headed to the injured reserve with a back injury that he can't get under control to catching the game-winning touchdown where he jumped about 8 feet in the air and landed directly on his back.
You know what's funny about that is that is the most back injury shit of all time. Like, back injuries are the
super
most
relatable.
You just woke up and felt better.
It's like
fine.
You have no fucking idea. I bet you he did feel like he's like, I can't move. I need to be out for a month. And then the next day he took 2 Advil and was like, I'm feeling kind of loose. And then they're like, all right.
I have to say, this was the first NFL injury in my entire life that I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
Relatable. Yeah.
Just like, this is classic back injury shit.
Oh my God.
Welcome back, Michael Pittman.
We're so back. We do have an It's So Over, and it is so over for Doug Peterson.
Yeah. So they're staying in London this week, right? Because they're playing
the Jags have
next
2
week.
games in a row.
Is there any issue with like the fact they're in another country on another continent? With
are you allowed to fire someone? So the Jags lost 35-16. Are you implying that?
How does that work with like?
What does
HR?
that mean? Well, you can't fire somebody in a different country?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
It's like you can't make a wife testify against. You can't convict them of her crimes against her husband.
Yeah, right.
So Doug Peterson needs to be extradited back to America.
They can't extradite him. Yeah.
He's gonna be going to like where's the closest non-extradition country?
Yeah,
to Julian
Assange.
Right, she'll be at an embassy.
Yeah, seriously.
Wait, no, but DK, what are you saying though? Because it's a bit. You're saying that's too awkward to fire him?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's like, is it weird that they're like still in England? Do they fire him and send him home?
Well, this loss definitely killed all the vibes of the sightseeing. So they lost 35-16. It's a fake. It was 35-10 in the fourth quarter. This was almost as bad as the Bills game, where I thought that was the most destructive I've seen a team all year, where the Bills just destroyed the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. This was almost as bad as that. The Bears scored 4 straight touchdown drives. Honestly, it was 6 because the Bears had 5 touchdown drives, and then in the middle, Caleb threw a pick. But honestly, the pick should have been a touchdown because he underthrew DJ Moore by 15 yards, and he just missed it. It looked like a home run in baseball, like getting caught by the wind. And like the Jags didn't do anything to pick the ball off. He just threw it to them. The Jags really gave up 6 straight touchdown drives to Chicago. I actually think that the Jags front office is the problem. I think Trent Baalke and the Jags are a joke, honestly, in the front office. But I don't know how you keep. I really don't know how you keep Doug Peterson and the staff, like the coaches, the players, the vibes. It's actually much worse than the Jets were when they fired Robert Saleh. And I do think the London trip, if they were flying back this week, it would be over. But if they lose to the Patriots next week, I really don't think Doug Peterson will make it to 9 a.m. on Monday morning if they lose next week.
Did you see Doug Peterson said that there needs to be a culture change? It's like who's going to tell him? Who wants to be the one to tell him?
Guys, I'm seeing Montenegro is a non-extradition
Oh.
country with
Oh, wow.
U.S. It's not like too far. You can
Maybe
probably take
Next.
Maybe
probably
Doug should
take
get
like
ahead of it.
hop on a Ryanair flight and just go down there and just saying.
What if Doug just quits? He gets ahead of it and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I
like,
quit.
with
I'm
you.
staying in
You
London.
can't fire me. I quit.
The
I don't think you
song
get.
Reddick?
I don't think you get all the money that way, Craig.
Yeah, no, it's,
right,
yeah, it's-
right.
You got to get fired. It's key. That's how you get the Frank Reich. I worked for 6 weeks. and
Right
I'm gonna
after
get
he
paid
gets
for 5
fired,
years.
then he should say, I was about to quit.
Yeah. That's exactly. I declare. Oh my God. Yeah, no. So while we're talking about the Jags, we got to get to Trevor Lawrence.
Oh God! Don't ask me. Ask someone else.
No, ask DK. Make him say it.
Well, DK,
Sorry.
Trevor Lawrence
Hmm.
is 1-10
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his last 11 games, and
But
DK.
but 2-10 in his last 12.
2-10 in his last 12. That's true.
That's totally different. Yeah, makes
Trevor
a huge
Lawrence
difference.
is a dozen games under 500. DK, he was supposed to be the next great quarterback prospect. DK, do you think thus far is Trevor Lawrence's career a fart? Something disgusting, but maybe passing, or is it a Shart?
Is a Shart unsalvageable?
I would say so.
Yeah,
It's not a Shart.
Yes.
I think he's
it's
salvageable.
people don't forget.
Yeah, he's salvageable. It's pretty damn close to a Shart though. Like this is what we were talking about a few weeks ago. I'm like, at some point you just got to play well, man. Like I know that you're a very good talent and that you have some incredible throws that you've made in your career, but like on the whole, pun intended, this is not going well, man. Like you got to start playing well. I'm tired of defending you.
I'm tired of defending.
Like I'm tired of this shit.
Every day I get up and I go to war for you.
Tired of like saying, yeah, but you know, he's
Tired of being Gordon
he's
Ramsay.
good.
Oh no, dear, it's okay, dear. No, it's true.
I don't know. I don't think I do think he is salvageable. I think there's a strong chance he'll be good at some point in his career. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
I personally look at Trevor Lawrence the same way. And I don't mean to like remove all agency from these quarterbacks, but I look at the Jaguars the same way I look at the Jets. That like where there are certain franchises where, okay, they've screwed up 6 franchise quarterbacks in a row. And it's you know what I mean? At some point, like, how am I supposed to be like, well, they screwed him up. And I don't know. And a big picture in this season.
How am I supposed to chip with that going on?
Well, I'm not, Doug. Hey, his name's Doug.
It is that.
Hey,
But like,
everyone's having fun.
oh yeah. Well, maybe he'll go to Montenegro.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I look at Baker Mayfield with the Bucks. I look at Geno Smith with the Seahawks. I look at Sam Darnold and the Vikings. I look at all these quarterbacks that have like we're infinitely worse or less thought of than Trevor Lawrence ever was, that are playing better than him right now. And I'm like, the idea that Trevor Lawrence is the better coach, like fucking throw a Kubiak at him, throw a grandson of Kubiak at him. I'm like, I think that he would be a lot better. And you know what I mean? It's like, imagine if you had stuck Trevor Lawrence in like half a dozen different, like Minnesota, for example. I'm like, they'd still be super undefeated. And I think that's the way I look at all this. But yeah, it's like, maybe the front office fucking sucks. The front office that has just every receiver who's had 120 yards versus them in 3 years, they've paid $40 million.
He's also like visibly the most frustrated quarterback in the league right now. He's like slamming the ground. He's really upset with himself. You can tell that he knows he has it in him to be better. He's like a golfer who got the yips and he can't like fix his swing.
When we created the category of fart or Shart, I don't think in our wildest dreams we could have thought it would actually come to this, or at least so quickly. DK, Jim Harbaugh, Chargers coach, left the sideline today. He went to the blue medical tent, then he went in the locker room. He came back, he changed his pants.
Did
DK,
he? Did he change his pants?
That was it. That was a theory that went around. DK, do you think Jim Harbaugh suffered a fart or a Shart on the sideline today?
It was a fart. First of all, I checked. I looked at the video from him leaving the stadium and then him back on the sidelines. He was walking kind of funny. He had like the Lamar Jackson, something's going on in my stomach walk.
You guys know what actually happened, right?
Yes, and by the way, so I checked his pants. It didn't look to me like he changed his pants, unless he's and actually he probably does have multiple of the same pair of pants like in his gym bag.
Thank God he wasn't wearing khakis. They were gray, dark gray, luckily.
Yeah, no, he had a heart arrhythmia.
Yeah,
so he said he had an atrial flutter,
but that's probably what I would say if I shit my pants too.
Right. True. Wow. should we change the category to fart or atrial flutter?
If you tell people you have an atrial flutter, they're like, oh, well, we can't joke about that now.
It's so specific and sounds so bad that you kind of just say, oh my God, are you okay? And move on. So it's a savvy move.
So here's my thoughts on it. I'm sure it's real. And he mentioned he had a couple ablations, which ablations are wild. I learned about them recently about like what an ablation is. They kind of burn your heart. It's nuts. Harbaugh also said he's 2-0 with an arrhythmia issue in his life.
Yeah, he had one in 99 and 2012.
So I will say this about Harbaugh. What he mentioned was that his heart, I guess, can go to 200 or 300 BPM, and it accelerates. And I'll just say this: that I'm not a doctor, but I feel like that sounds like you're more at risk for shitting your pants, not less.
You're saying when your heart rate is incredibly high, you're more at risk of shitting your pants.
I think so.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, I can't say that I can't say it's wrong. I can't
like
prove you
remember
wrong.
in Game of Thrones when Bronn is like, yeah, men shit themselves when they die. They didn't teach you that in fancy lad school. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know.
So you're saying because Harbaugh, his arrhythmia brought him slightly closer to death, that perhaps he was closer to sharding himself.
It doesn't, to me, it's a very sharp omission of information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, we're glad he's fine. We're glad he's okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thrilled.
Don't think he changed his pants.
No, not diarrhea, just arrhythmia.
And the reason I say that is because I did an investigation if he changed his pants during the games today. I spent time watching replays of him walking around on the sideline
doing the
when
work.
I should have been watching football.
No, it's all right.
No waddles?
I mean, he was waddling funny.
So no Shart. Yeah, I think he was like hunched over because his heart was
fart or
atrial flutter.
Atrial flutter. Oh my God. All right. Real and spectacular. I know we just talked about the Jags. I just want to shout out the Bears were real and spectacular in this game. Caleb Williams was real and spectacular. I think he's actually on track to be the biggest Chicago athlete since Michael Jordan by Halloween, which I was joking about in August, but I actually think it's true. He had fucking 4 touchdowns in this game.
Should have been 5.
It should have been 5.
Or it could have been, or it was close to 5.
So, I mean, everything about it, Caleb Williams is really impressive, and we're going to talk about him all season, but I thought he was absolutely awesome in this game. And he rebounded from that pick from DJ Moore really well. And he just played really well. He's doing the little things well. And he after that grossly inaccurate pick, he was incredibly accurate for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he looks incredibly comfortable. Obviously, the Jags defense is terrible, and we kind of knew that coming into this game. This is a great chance for him to really go off, and he did. He just looked so much like the Williams that we saw in college, where he's just doing his thing, escaping pressure, finding the open guy, perfectly placed passes down the field. So it's really, really encouraging. 23 out of 29, 4 touchdowns. I also think, while we're on this game, I want to talk about Cole motherfucking Kmet, who I think is the real deal.
God.
I've been like on this weird thing where for like the last 3 years, I actually think Cole Kmet is a good player. And for some reason, like no one else agrees with me, including maybe the Bears, who signed Gerald Everett in the offseason and then like barely played Cole Kmet in week 1. But basically since week 1, Cole Kmet, which he only played like 40-something% of the snaps in that game. But since week 2 on, he's the tight end 2 in total points. Like,
you left out the long snapper got hurt and he scored a touchdown.
Oh yeah,
and
this guy could do everything.
Point.
Yeah, he had 5 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. The long snapper got hurt, so as soon as he scored a touchdown, they had to go like find him in the celebratory scrum or whatever. And they're like, "Yo, you got to get in here, man!" And he like went in and
dude, they were like, "Dude, Scott got hurt." He was like, "Tyler Scott." They're like, "No, Scott Daly, you got to snap." He's like, "Oh shit!" And then he like went.
He did. I think he had multiple long snaps today, and he did good. He did a good job.
Yeah, he kept doing the extra point. You don't.
Freaking Cole Kmet, man, he's good. Yeah.
Can I just say about Caleb that? Did you guys see his outfit after the game?
No.
Or maybe, actually, I think it was before the game. I think it was his pregame. He was wearing a full body tan trench coat, looking like Gene Hackman in a '90s movie. And I gotta say, I think Caleb Williams is going to redefine quarterback fashion. I think he's going to eat Joe Burrow's lunch, and he is going to be like the most important fashion icon in NFL history.
He was on he wore a dress on the cover of GQ in his last year of college.
He's going to take off. Burrow, like doing the Vogue thing with Justin Jefferson. Like
Burrow just did that for shits and gigs. Caleb Williams basically wants to be like ASAP Rocky or like, you know what I mean? Or like Russell Westbrook. Like he's going to wear like a metal armor plate.
Well, I don't know about Russell Westbrook. I wouldn't want to model my fashion game after.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I also have to shout out. People have done it multiple weeks, and I don't care. I like it. The guys showing up to the London games as Peaky Blinders is amazing.
It's great.
It's an amazing look, and Roman Dudes they did it, and I don't care that it's a repeat. Everyone should do that.
I agree. Good vibe. Good look.
I like this coat, Craig.
I know it's so cool.
Good coat.
If you're listening on Spotify right now, you can go and we'll put the code up. It looks warm. It looks like he killed an animal.
It's got a little like fuzzy on the outside.
He's like going to a business meeting north of the wall.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He looks like he just left a business
watch.
Lunch where he had 2 martinis.
He's like it's like the day's watch, you know, because it's tan.
Days.
I don't know.
It's
good.
It was good.
My real and spectacular. I think Drake May looked really good, and I thought it got off to a rough start. The first quarter and a half, even the first half in general, not great. He looked pretty skittish. Mm-hmm. I said that they lost 21-41 to the Texans. He kind of looked like a little bit of a headless chicken. He looked like Mike the Headless Chicken a little bit out there. His first pick was brutal.
He choked to death.
It was messy. He was choking to death out there a little bit.
He choked to death.
The offensive line was terrible. They did nothing for him. His center had been on the team for 4 days. So it's like
crazy.
Craig, I was telling you this like before the game. This is literally like one of the worst situations you could put a rookie quarterback in. He has like very few, if any, established like playmakers on offense.
Zero.
Like
he was making
like
Kayshon Boutte look good.
Yeah.
It's just Booty.
His offense.
It's just Booty. It's not Boutte.
I think you could do either, but it is Booty. Yeah.
It's Booty.
Aaron Schatz tweeted this. Yeah, it's definitely Booty. It's Booty. Fart or Shart or it's Atrial Flutter. But Aaron Schatz tweeted this. The Patriots so far have started 4 left tackles, 2 left guards, 4 centers, 2 right guards, and 2 right tackles.
Yeah, the offensive line was absolutely decimated. This is against a very good defense. Ramondre Stevenson's out. They have no run game. They have no support. He has nothing. And he goes in there and he threw 3 touchdowns. He did make a few mistakes. He had a couple.
The Pats only have 2 touchdowns. His passing touchdowns entering this game.
He has more passing touchdowns than Brissett does on the year. And Brissett started 5 games.
And he ran for like 40 yards. He also recorded a tackle. He did everything.
Well, on a pick, but yes.
Still, love that.
He recorded a tackle. It's like the meme where the duck is like, why did he record the tackle, Craig? Why did he record the tackle?
But yeah, in general, like he flashed all the tools. Like this was only game 1, and I feel like it was there. This is the scariest spot. You know, it's like the first start for a quarterback their career. It's like your first drive off the tee. I mean, it almost like means nothing. Like you can just throw it in the trash. Everyone's watching you. You know it doesn't reflect your actual game at all. You know you're going to be kind of cold. The goal is just to get out alive. It's just to make it through alive. Just somehow land the ball in the fairway.
Just put it on the fairway. Oh,
just put it on the fairway. And Drake May did that today.
100%. I love that. And then also, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler, I don't know if the ball was on the fairway, but I was much more intrigued with his golf game.
Totally. He like hit a 6-iron 220, and I was like, whoa, you got that in your bag? He's a little bit of an intrusive thought, kind of like, what if we just played Rattler over Carr? You know? I know they got their ass kicked, but there was a moment there where the Saints scored 27 points in 1 quarter with Rattler, and I was like, I don't know, man. This guy's making some plays. He brings a spark to the team. And again, just like with Drake May, their offensive line was in shambles too. And Olave left the game with a concussion early. I don't know. I thought Rattler, for being, a fifth rounder who's had a very bizarre career, who was like the number 1 recruit out of high school, I saw the flashes of why he was appealing heading into college.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. It's almost exactly the same situation as like the May thing. His offensive line's been decimated. Olave left early on in the game. He has like no big time skill players. Obviously Kamara, but Kamara couldn't get much going on the ground because the offensive line was in shambles.
He was passing to Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau most of the game.
Yeah, Bub Means.
Bub Means. Spencer Rattler threw a touchdown to Bub Means over Tyreek Funderburk. Tyreek Funderburk could not prevent the Bub Beans touchdown from Spencer Rattler.
Funderburk was going to be my two Kyle Pitts, two tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts in a lie. Funderburk, it's all right.
I'm so sorry. Austin Gale, who works here at the Ringer with us, asked us, was that the greatest name play in NFL history?
Bub
Means over Tyreek Funderburk for the touchdown from Spencer
It's
Rattler.
up there.
Howie Long, I think it was on the halftime show or somewhere, was like obsessing over how cool Spencer Rattler's name was. He's like, this Rattler kid, come on.
There's something there.
Great name. Something. Rattler?
I thought he did look pretty solid, all things considered. Yeah.
Any other intrusive thoughts, Greg?
Did you guys notice how many punched fumbles? What the
That's
peanut
a thing,
punch,
dude? Yeah,
so many. I think guys it's so many. We had the same thought. They're everywhere now.
It honestly feels like the single most impactful play an individual player can make in a game. And it should be the only thing everybody practices. Brian Branch had one today. TJ Watt had one.
I think.
Yeah, right. Evan Williams had one for the Cardinals. It's just like, one, it's like the most aesthetically pleasing thing to watch. To just like
watching
perfectly
it in
punch
slow-mo,
a ball through. But I don't know. I know that players try it a lot, but I would lean in even more. It's like the only thing you should be trying to do.
Do you think it's because screen passes are such a prevalent thing in the NFL right now? Like guys getting the ball out in space, and you got DBs coming in at an angle and just like trying to punch the shit out of the ball. You can, by the way, if you miss, like you're just essentially punching a guy on the field.
I've been waiting for that forever for like the TJ Watt,
just
like
coming up and just punching him in the stomach.
Yeah, like it will happen eventually. But I think it's a skill thing, and I think that
doesn't Fred Warner practice boxing for this reason?
Yeah, and like Ravens. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like the peanut punch, and then like Tom Zibikowski was actually a boxer in the Ravens. But I mean, I think that I think it's similar to like in the NBA where there were no centers who could shoot, and now like everyone in the NBA, like I think Rob Mahoney said this at Bill's pod, or no, Kirk Goldsberry said on Bill's pod the other day of just how many people could make a corner three in the NBA 15 years ago, and how many people can do it now, like almost all of them. And I think it's like defenders, how many guys could like actually land a punch mid play and like 15 years ago? Not like 6. Now I think it's like 300.
Yeah.
It's actually wild to me that there's not like 18 fumbles in every game.
I know.
How do these guys hold on to the fucking ball like
that?
I don't understand it, actually.
High and tight, baby. No, I think you're right, Craig. I do think it's at an all-time high. Play of the day. Best play. I mean, all the peanut punches were amazing. I personally think I have to either give it to, as much as my heart wants to give it to two things, I think it's hard to beat Cole Kmet catching a touchdown, then snapping the extra point. That's pretty cool. Nuts.
Yeah.
That's probably like never happened.
That's like a real coach's like wet dream, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this guy's
guy.
Yeah, this guy's doing everything.
Lunch pail.
But I also would say, dude, Craig, once again, the Lions just throwing all the passes to the offensive linemen. I know they didn't work, but I can't believe you're not into that.
I mean, they worked, but one of them was a penalty.
So. Any other ones you guys like to play the day?
I think I liked Jordan Love's "fuck it, Dubs is down there somewhere" throw. It was actually a really good throw, I thought. I mean, obviously a little bit dangerous and a little bit aggressive, but he had like basically, I think he had unblocked pressure coming from the right side of the line. So he basically bought himself time by running straight backwards, more or less, strafing straight to his right. And he dropped back probably like 15 yards like behind the line of scrimmage and just heaved the ball up because it was one-on-one coverage. And, you know, we've said this all off season. We said this heading into the season. He trusts Romeo Dobbs. I'm sorry. He trusts him like implicitly, like that's his guy. He just threw it up for him. And Dobbs, who by the way, like left the team last week for a couple days and got suspended, came down with it, scored a touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns on the day. So I thought that was a really great one too.
Yeah. Any other ones, Craig?
Well, there was the Eric Murray, who's a cornerback for the Pats. His pick against Drake May. Did you see that? It was like a tip ball. He
Texans.
Texans. He caught it around
like the guy's head.
Yeah, like a Patriot. Like he just like went around him and like used him to catch the ball on his back. It was amazing.
That's how Jared Goff wanted Taylor Decker to catch the touchdown. Just catch it around the defender.
He almost did.
Worst play of the day, I think it's Will Levis shredding the ball boy's knee. And
Yeah.
ball man, he's like 65 years
Ball
old. But
boy.
yeah, it's weird to call him a ball man. But like, Will Levis, I think it's the 6th week in a row it goes to Will Levis. But it really, like, he just destroyed this man. I don't know why so many people on the sidelines are getting injured.
A lot of people. There's a rash of sideline people injuries this year. I feel like.
If it was a montage
your head
in
on
a
a swivel.
mafia movie, you'd be like, they're getting whacked. Like,
I
it's
know.
actually nuts.
I don't really know how you fix that. I've always felt with the NBA that everyone sits way too close to the damn court. And I know you gotta sell. I know you gotta sell tickets, and people want to sit that close, and it's how you make money. But there's just something weird about a ball going out of bounds, and like LeBron James is diving into it like a couple sitting there trying to watch the game.
1,000%.
Dude,
Doesn't make any sense.
The chain gang is that 2 guys holding a chain like a foot from the sideline. Like, here, don't run into this. And they also make the material like that's like 5 yards off the sideline the slipperiest material on earth for some reason.
It's
So
true, yeah, like, ended Jamal Charles's career.
it's like, what's the slipperiest like lube on the face of the earth? You know, they just coat it in that.
Well, didn't we have an
It's
episode
like-
where we talked about Astroglide or something?
Yeah, it's like Astroglide just around the field.
It's
like Mario
it's
Kart where
rocket ship lube they put on the sides of the stadium so people can't possibly like run more than 5 yards off the sideline.
I know this is a little ageist, but I feel like a lot of these people who are getting hurt, these innocent bystanders, are always old.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
no, it's true.
I know this
we
is
need to
bad, but,
protect
like,
our
You're
elders.
saying it's a
Well-
culling?
Well, maybe we just need to, maybe we need some athletic testing for people with these
Or
jobs on the sidelines. Maybe we need you to be, somewhat young.
Do we go the other way? And is it kind of like we always joke that like the Olympic events should have one normal person doing them? And like we wish that like, or like the Masters where like you should have a normal guy go out there just to appreciate how hard it is. There is something of like when you see these guys playing football forever, you get like
Sacrificial lamb. We're just
then
man.
you see one person fall one time and you're like, oh man, they're like done forever.
He's the control group or whatever. Like
exactly.
everyone else is so amazing.
like 1 in 4 people who get hit on the sidelines get carted off.
Yes. They like receive medical attention. Like just because they fell.
Andy
Meanwhile, all
Dalton-
these players are literally getting tackled like 40 times a game.
Yeah. Andy Dalton pegged a cameraman in the head today near the
Oh,
end
okay.
zone.
Glad you finished that.
Yeah, that started. You were wandering down an interesting road there.
What did I say? Pegged?
You said Andy Dalton pegged a guy.
Pegged is like a slang term. Also, did I use that incorrectly?
No.
Okay. Maybe it's just a little archaic.
I think
don't
people
know.
have retired the word for that usage.
Yeah,
There's a new
yeah.
meaning.
It's kind of like when you were like, it's kind of like how you were describing, is Trevor Lawrence a bust? That's fine. But then you're like, Trevor Lawrence is busting. And you're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
The other one that I can't handle is that it's like Ravens edge commanders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
That's a thing. Yeah.
stop that. Outrageous.
Also, did you guys see? I don't know if this is the first time he's done it. Has Will Levis always done the Spider-Man celebration?
I don't know if he's
I
anything to
don't
celebrate. We haven't found out yet.
Did you see he was doing the like shooting the web out of his wrists thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh
tough.
my God. Is that nothing? I'm not going to say what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like something you're doing something else too.
Yeah. Is that it? Yeah.
What are you saying? Like masturbating?
No.
Nope.
Oh,
there's a famous like clip I've seen on like Instagram. It's like Craig, you remind me of the guy who plays Spider-Man. I never can remember his name.
Toby Maguire.
No, the newer one.
It's,
He's
Andrew
dating
Garfield.
Zendaya.
no.
Tom Holland.
Tom
Holland.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. That he's like making the Spider-Man like movement. What's this look like to you? And then Zendaya's like right next to him.
I
and
see.
she like bites her lip. I mean, it's bad timing on the whole thing, but it looked really graphic in
Right.
nature.
All
if
right,
you will.
I'm caught up.
Yep.
All right. Where's play Will Levis? All right. Arthur Smith Award for Coach Who Pissed You Off. We have a daily double.
Heyo.
There it is.
Follow us on Ringer Fantasy Football at Gmail. Oh, no, sorry, that's the email. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at Ringer Fantasy Football, and you can submit submissions for these categories on Sundays. And
Submit
Joe
submissions.
B,
Joe B.
Joe.
Coach Who
Is
Pissed
this
You Off said
The Joey B?
Joey B.
The Joey B?
No,
It's not Burrow.
No, okay.
I mean maybe. I didn't
I mean,
check.
people might have told Burrow about our podcast after the things that you said in the preseason, Heifetz.
Maybe. Anyway, Joe B says the only answer for Coach Who Pissed You Off this week has to be Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, Sirianni. Dude, he's on one. First of all, he shaved his head.
Yeah. Desperation shave.
Speaking of Joey B.
Strike one.
Yeah.
Strike one. They beat the Browns by fucking 4, and he's cursing out his fans.
Yeah, he was talking shit. He was talking shit. First of all, when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's funny, haha." He's a maniac. He's talking shit to the opposing fans. So then I was like, "Oh wait, he's at home."
Yeah,
He's talking shit to his own fans.
to the
after they beat
Philly fans.
They're like the worst offense ever, like the worst offense since the Jamarcus Russell Raiders. He beat them by 4, and he's cussing
He
out his
beat them
fans.
is doing a lot of work too.
Right? Yeah, calling no plays
Well, so because
and
we were joking,
generally being avoided.
Big Dom's title is head of sideline operations, and we're like, well, then what the fuck does Nick Sirianni do?
I think he's Dom's assistant.
Yeah, basically. But then he brought his kids to the press conference, and I'm like, at first I was like, oh, he brought these human shields here so he doesn't get asked about it while he was screaming at fans. And then by the end of it, I was like, I actually think he brought his kids because he doesn't think he'll get fired. He thinks he might get fired by his next game. Like, this might be his last press conference.
I think it's hard. You can't fire a guy who's bringing his kids up to this. It's just like, it's like naming a lost pet. You can't name
chestnut checkers right here.
Yeah.
Do you think that he
brings
should
up
just
the kids every time?
Do you think he should bring his kids to every meeting he has for the rest of the game so they can't fire him?
Yes, absolutely.
Like if Robert Saleh had brought his 7 kids to work on Tuesday, Woody Johnson couldn't have fired him.
You try and fire a guy in front of his 7 children.
Yes,
in front of an NFL team of kids.
Yes, just bring 7 kids. No, that's it. Honestly, Sirianni, he just needs to bring his kids with him everywhere he goes.
They should be on the sideline.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried
Big Dom can babysit?
You ever tried talking to a parent who's got like multiple kids sort of like hanging around them? Like it's impossible. No one can focus. Like it's so easy to just get out of any conversation if you're Sirianni. It's like, hold on. Like I got to deal with it. And like you got several kids just like pulling on your pant, like talking over you, asking the question, like interrupting.
Jeff Lurie is like, can we get a moment alone? And you're like, yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, let me deal with this real quick.
You know the rom-com tactic of like the guy who has like the puppy and he sends the puppy over to the girl? That's just Sirianni with the kid. What the kid's going to go up, and be like, are you going to fire my daddy? They're going to be like, no, of course not. We would never.
Go up to Jalen Hurts like, I heard you hate my dad.
Yeah, no.
I don't hate your dad.
This is a good strategy.
He just can't control his emotions.
Howie, is it true my dad doesn't do anything? No. No, he's essential.
Oh my God.
He should just send his daughter everywhere.
This is brilliant.
Kid should run the team. It's like get a trench coat. Stack them all up. All right. Worst referee moment. We have another daily double.
Ooh, found the other one.
This was from Josh.
Joshy.
Ron Torbert's crew in the Patriots game was disgusting.
What do you mean?
They just get a little bit of everything wrong. And also, I'm borrowing from Nate Tice, who's pointed this out for years, but Ron Torbert, I think, is the worst ref in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think he's worse than Hercules Kid. But there was a pass interference call.
Don't even know his name. Hercules Kid?
Sean.
You don't respect him enough to know his name.
Hercules tried the whole kid thing. That didn't work.
Of all the Nepos, I think it's the funniest to pretend. I think the idea that Ed Hercules Kid is like Sean, it's like ref is the funniest.
To be clear, bringing your grown children to a thing doesn't work as well as little kids.
That's a funny Nepo profession, refereeing.
Yeah, it is. Just lawyer refs. It's
lawyer
funny.
refs. If anybody has any funny Nepo professions, let us know.
If you were trying to get into refereeing, NFL refereeing right now, like me as a 42-year-old man, how do I get into NFL refereeing?
Lie about being a lawyer.
Go to law school.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 1,
take the LSAT,
incur tremendous debt, and go to law school for 3 years.
And then just say your dad's at Hercules.
You got to be kind of ripped, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, Ron Torbert, awful ref, and we should note when he's reffing a game from now on because
you got a couple of tweets about how Land Clark did some good things today. So
Land Clark, the Land Clerk.
Land.
Yeah, Land. Love Land.
Land Clark, the Land Clerk is like Bob Loblaw's Loblog.
Bob Loblaw. Land Clark, the Land Clerk.
Oh my
For
God.
those who are listening and have no idea what we're talking about,
so
all these refs have real jobs, and we found out that Land Clark is the head of buildings for the city of Albuquerque.
Bob Loblaw.
Which means he's in charge of enforcing municipal code for Albuquerque, which
also,
means he's quite literally a land clerk.
And his middle name is Land, so he elected to go with Land, perhaps when he got that job, just to make it work.
You meet with the building guy. It's like land. Imagine arguing about land with a guy named Land. Like it's a real alpha move.
Blah blah blah's blah blog.
He just slams the book every time.
Speaking of which, the Lucille Bluth, I don't understand the stat line and I won't respond to it award. I'd like to start with Travis Etienne getting 3 carries and losing 1 yard.
Things aren't going great for Travis Etienne right now.
No.
Christ.
That could have been an It's So Over, to be honest.
Yeah, it is so over for Etienne. Well, actually, I think it's not so over for Etienne because Peterson's going to get fired and Etienne, I think he hates Etienne.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Oh, wait, Carlos just texted us. We did a poll on Is Your Name Land, and 6% of people said yes.
You see,
6%?
How can we confirm that? They're trolling us.
Do you think there was some voter fraud going on?
What if I
6%?
Googled number of people named Land?
Maybe just 6. Maybe just 6 people.
Wait, how many people voted? 2,500 people voted. There's no way we have that many lands.
Damn you people.
What does that mean? We have like 12 lands?
Got a lot of jokesters on our hand here.
I would like to add another stat line I don't understand and won't respond to. This is Austin. Austin sent us this. This is outrageous.
Oh, it'd be 150 lands. Oh, excuse my math. We'd have 150 lands if that number's accurate.
There's not 150 lands in the world. Austin sent us this about Deshaun Watson.
Hold on, I just pulled up a stat. I have no idea if it's real or not. How unique is the name Land? From 1880 to 2023, less than 5 people per year have been born with the first name Land.
And they're all listening still.
Wow.
And all of them love fantasy football.
This is the spot, man. Location.
Ha.
I tried.
All right, what do you got?
Should we do an insane Deshaun Watson stat?
Yeah, this is like Austin's hobby horse, and I love it. Every week, there's just a more ridiculous Deshaun Watson stat.
This one was pretty outrageous.
It's like a sadder, darker version of Kenny Pickett facts.
Yeah, it's like if Kenny Pickett facts was Deshaun Watson. Yeah. There's two. The one Austin had was there's been bottom 8 in drop back success rate in the first 6 weeks of the season since 2000. 741 quarterbacks. Jamarcus Russell, Blaine Gabbert, Jay Fielder, Achilles Smith, Josh Rosen, Mark Bolger, David Carr, and Deshaun Watson.
Wow,
so 5 of the worst draft busts ever in Deshaun Watson.
Not great.
And then the other one, DK, you sent me this earlier. Bill Barnwell tweeted this. Since 2007, 566 quarterbacks have thrown 100 passes or more in the first 6 games of a season. 566. And if you sort those 566 by first downs per pass attempt, Deshaun Watson is last.
Dude,
he's 566th out of 566 in first downs per pass attempt.
The amount of computing power that is being spent figuring out these ridiculous Deshaun Watson stats, because they're just going back in time further and further, because he's just getting worse and worse. Like there are like content farms figuring out how bad Deshaun Watson is every single week.
It's like actually bad for the environment. How bad his
it's like
stats
mining
are. It's like
Bitcoin, finding out how bad Deshaun Watson is.
Not
they
only
got data servers running 24/7 to like mine the worst
cooling
stats
systems, making sure they don't overheat.
Yeah, not only has Deshaun Watson settled more lawsuits than thrown touchdowns for the Cleveland Browns, he's also destroying the Amazon rainforest. The amount of Google Gemini can't keep up with how many fucking terrible passes.
It's like Tesla batteries and Deshaun Watson stats.
Deshaun Watson's destroying the environment. It's really good. Yeah.
He is in many ways.
Oh my God.
Did you guys see, speaking of Google Gemini, did you guys see that this was real? I saw it online and I thought it was fake and I Googled it, that I Googled the difference between a dressing and a sauce, and it said a sauce is something like you kind of mix up and put on food, and dressing is what you do to a wound. That's Google. That's Google
they're
now.
not
the $2
wrong.
trillion company Google.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
$2 trillion.
I think I saw that like a couple of weeks ago, which means they haven't fixed it, which is
They haven't fixed. No, that's why I thought it was fake. You could try this right now. We don't have to go on this rant. But
If they fix it, is that like a Streisand effect thing, Craig?
No, the Streisand effect is right now because I'm talking about it. It's outrageous. Anyway, Google's shit. All right, burn book. So week 1, we burned Deshaun Watson, which that was prescient. Week 2, Christian Kirk. Week 3, DeAndre Swift, kind of revived him. Week 4, Kyle Pitts. Week 5, Mark Andrews. So like the last few weeks, we've really revived people. Do you guys have anyone you want to burn for week 6?
Do we have anyone we want to revive? Because it's working.
I wanted to throw out, we haven't done a quarterback yet, other than Deshaun Watson, who I'm not counting. Dak Prescott's been pretty terrible. And I feel like you drafted Dak Prescott as somebody that you felt like was a Goff type guy who you could rely on for 20 points a game. He's scored more than 18 points once this year, and he had 5 points today against the Lions.
Well, I mean, 3. He had 3. He had 3 points.
Caleb Williams is outscoring.
Oh my God, I'm
Dak
looking
Prescott.
at my points per first down league, and he had 5.
No, he had 3 points. I mean, Hendon Hooker came in for the Lions and had 0.7.
I mean, Dak's like unplayable right now.
Dak had 2.5 more points than Hendon Hooker in relief of the Lions kicking the shit out of Dak Prescott.
Who do you have?
That's really good. No, I think Dak's a really good choice. I think Dak with 3 points into a bye because the Cowboys next game are the 49ers, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Texans, and what? Like, yeah, how do you play Dak for the next
What's tough about this is, I mean, Dak's been really bad, but on a per game basis, he's still technically outperforming Pat Mahomes. But we're not going to burn Pat Mahomes, you know?
Just out of principle.
Yeah, we're just like,
you should probably play Andy Dalton over Dak for the next month. So I think Dak's a pretty good burn.
Like, you're immediately playing Drake May over Dak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. DK, did you have anybody?
Well, I was thinking, I think the injury kind of saves him from this, but I was thinking ETN. I'm just like,
yeah.
But he got hurt, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, but like did he though? I don't know. He's hurt, but
it's like each of the last
4
3
weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's like each of the last 3 games. It's been like, well, he apparently got hurt at some point.
His
in the
pads
game.
are off, and I'm like, okay, then just
Yeah.
don't play.
But
1 carry for 3 carries, -1 yards.
And he's like really never been good all year. Like his best game, he got 13 points one time.
But yeah,
dude, negative is outrageous.
I'm down with ETN actually. I think people are really pissed if they have ETN.
I think we burned Travis Etienne. He's
have negative
unplayable.
points today.
Yeah, he lost. You lost points. Yeah, I think we burned Travis.
That should be a rule. If you have negative points, you're out.
Yeah.
Wait, I think was Olave negative because he fumbled and then left the game.
Yeah, but he got concussed. Like,
well, did ETN hurt his hamstring?
Those are two. The injuries are very different.
Super different vibes on the injuries, and also the coach is liking them.
Okay, all right.
All right, Travis Etienne, you're in the bird book. Okay.
Tune in next week when he scores 20 points.
Yeah, he'll be back stronger than ever.
All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos and Kai, for producing this episode. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Kiera. Thank you, everyone, for help behind the scenes. Follow us on Instagram at Ringer Fantasy Football, please. It's so humiliating to ask people to follow. Do it. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ringer Fantasy Football. Email to ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Oasis.
Nice.
None of you are going to any of their shows on this new tour?
No.
Yeah,
are they touring in America? Is that the deal?
Yeah, they're coming to the Coliseum in Oakland or in LA. I don't know where.
Are you going?
No, I have my brother-in-law is going. I'm not an Oasis. I've never been an Oasis guy. DK, are you? I feel like you might be.
No, I mean I know like their 2 big songs like Champagne Supernova and
Wonderwall.
What's the other one? Wonderwall.
Yeah.
Champagne Supernova in the sky. I like how they add an ER for no reason at the end.
I like that they hate each other.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, they're
I
brothers.
think it's really funny. Like, the stuff that they've said about each other is outrageous. There's an Insults Hall of Fame post, the Ringer Instagram. Liam called Noel a potato.
Nice.
Potato.
Liam said, "I'd rather eat my own shit than be in a band with Noel again."
That's
Noel
funny.
said Liam was a man with a fork in a world of soup.
Oh God.
Oh wow, poetic.
It's deep.
They are being followed right now. They have a documentary crew with them, so they definitely know what they're doing. You're my wonder. I know that's.
What the fuck is a wonder?
Liz is like, oh, the pod must be almost over.
Yeah.
I don't know what a Wonderwall is. Isn't it
What
like
the fuck
somebody
is
you
that?
love, somebody you're thinking about?
Googling what's a wonder wall. The person you constantly find yourself thinking about.
There you go.
Oh, I get it now. All right, goodbye, everyone.